Hi everybody, welcome to Kiali community meeting. Today we are going to present Kiali version 1.70 related to Sprint 92. Here's the agenda for today. So at the beginning we are going to start with the summary of current Sprint 92. Then we are going to show the highlights of Kiali version 1.70. Then we will see a preview of the next Sprint 93, and we will finish with a community discussion. So let's start with a summary of the current Sprint 92. As you can see, most of the work have been committed into the core Kiali repository. 47 issues have been done. We have 13 in progress, 6 in the backlog, 4 epics in progress, and 4 in review. Probably some of the in progress and backlog will be moved to the next sprint. Apart of this, there has been some activity in the Openshift service mesh plugin and small changes in the Helm chart, Kiali operator, and Kiali.io repositories. Okay, let's continue with the highlights of Kiali version 1.70. Regarding multi-cluster, after finishing most of the code features of multi-cluster in the alpha stage, we have published some materials about multi-cluster. Some blog entry has been updated to Medium, explaining how to set up a multi-cluster environment with Istio and Kiali. Also, we have created some videos, demo videos in YouTube that explain how to set up this multi-cluster and presenting the features of multi-cluster. And finally, in our webpage, Kiali.io, all the documents have been updated with multi-cluster information. Another highlight of this version of Kiali is now all configs are editable and validated in a remote cluster. To present this feature, we have Hike. Hike, what you want?
Yeah, thank you, Alberto. When we introduced multi-cluster support, the Istio configs for the remote clusters were read-only, and the Kiali Istio configs validations was disabled for them. So now with this print, the validations are enabled. So if you go to the Istio config list, if you show in the configuration column of the Istio configs, if you show the validation results for Istio configs of all clusters, including home and remote clusters. The same in the Istio config details of the YAML editor, it will show the validations. And also, those configurations are now editable. So before the YAML editor was read-only mode, now it can be edited, saved, and be validated. Also, in other places where the Istio configs are modified, for instance, in the overview page, over the namespace actions drop-down, the traffic policies can be created, updated, and deleted for the remote clusters namespaces. And for those remote cluster services, in the traffic wizards, they are also editable. So traffic wizards can be edited. The new traffics with the Istio configs can be created on remote clusters services. So that's it from my side. Thank you, Fernando.
Okay, thank you, Hike. Okay, next one, let's talk about Openshift Service Mesh Console plugin. Okay, as you remember from previous Sprint demos, our target is to make OSSIM plugin become JA, to remove the iframes and make it native components. Our first approach was to move all or most of the Kiali pages and components into a React library called Core UI. But the problem that we have facing is it's very hard to move most of the pages and components at the same time and adapt it to a React library. So in order to make it to become GA sooner. We have changed our approach, and now what we are going to do is to export the core Kiali application as one big component and copy the code into OSSMC plugin. In order to avoid code duplicity, divergence, the core Kiali application copied into OSSM plugin won't be allowed to be modified. So always will be one flow direction from Kiali repository to OSSMC repository. Doing this, there is no code duplicity and maintenance is easier. In order to do that, we are doing small changes to core Kiali application in order to make it compatible with OSSMC architecture. This new approach means that the Kiali component React library initiative has been postponed. Our idea is that in the medium long term, there will be a gradual transition and some of the pages and components from Kiali will be moved to that React library in order to share with other applications. Okay, some notable changes of this version of Kiali. We have verified that Kiali works with latest version Istio 1.18, ambient in alpha version. We have upgraded important libraries, both from backend, upgrading Go to version 1.20, and in the front-end side, upgrading TypeScript to version 4.6. Also, we have fixed some tests in the Istio config wizard since it was failing on subsequent runs. We have improved the control plane metric and created some related FAQ. We have updated Istio client API to fix a caching error and created some developer documentation for Kiali Operate. Okay, let's continue with a preview of next Sprint 93. So now we have 6 epics in progress. We have 2 epics related to OSSMC, one in the Kiali repository to make it OSSMC compatible with the plugin, and another one in Openshift service mesh repository. We have the multi-cluster epic, also investigation of Kiali with Istio ambient mesh, tempo support, and the pattern topology for Kiali graph. In the issues that are in the backlog list, there are some of them related to the epics in progress that are in the left list. And that's all. Thank you all for attendance. And now let's have a community discussion.